As you're working towards passing that Maryland real estate exam to become either a salesperson or a broker, associate broker, let's review these two forms that for some of us, especially those working to get your salesperson's license or you're licensed in another state, these two forms can be confusing. We're talking about the understanding whom agents represent and consent for dual agency. Both of these forms deal with agency relationship. This topic produces the most questions. It is titled Brokerage Relationship. Even though these two forms are in the topic of agency, they serve different purposes and not necessarily presented at the same time in a transaction. Let's dig deeper. My name is Brenda Kasuva. I look forward to helping you pass that real estate exam. Go to trainingwithbrenda.com for more. We're going to start with the understanding whom agents represent. As a tip here, the first form, understanding whom agents represent, is going to talk about the title of the form, the consumer, the public understanding who are they engaging with at this present time. Is it the person on the corner of the seller? Or is it the buyer? And then we shall definitely talk about dual agency. The second one, consent to dual agency, is asking for permission for the possibility of dual agency happening. And when it happens, we're going to acknowledge it. So it's asking that client whom I, Brenda the agent, are going to be representing, will you allow dual agency? And we'll go through that. At any time, if you want to dig deeper, we do have videos that go specifically through each of these particular forms. Check that out on our channel. We shall have the link tagged in this particular video as well. Let's start with the understanding whom agents represent. Remember again, it's to help the public understand who is this agent working for. Is it the seller? Is it the buyer, landlord, or tenant? In this video, I'm just going to keep it as simple as possible and mention the words seller or buyer. Please understand, when I'm speaking about the seller, it also covers the landlord. When I'm speaking about the buyer, it also covers the tenant. In the exam, whenever you see the words first scheduled face-to-face contact, explain whom the licensor to an unrepresented consumer, or no later than the first scheduled face-to-face contact, this is the document we are discussing. So let's start off with when. When is this document presented? Again, the purpose is to explain who does this agent work for. It is not a contract. When is it going to be presented? No later than the first scheduled face-to-face contact. I, Brenda, I am licensed, I'm a broker. So when I meet with the public, maybe that's you right now watching this particular video, I'm going to talk about whom I represent. If I happen to be the seller's agent and you're a buyer, you told me you're not represented by anyone, I'm going to present to you this particular document for you to understand that I represent the seller. The other side, I'm Brenda, real estate broker. I'm representing you, buyer. You're my client. You're interested in checking out a property where the seller is not represented. Some of us have heard FSBO or for sale by owner. That seller we're going to disclose to them that I am representing you as my buyer client. What else do we need to note? When marketing the property, we're going to do what is known as an open house. During that scheduled time, yes, it is scheduled. It is open to the public. People are coming to check out the house. Some have representation, some do not. At that time, during that open house, there is an exception. We don't need to hand out the understanding home agents represent. We just need to have the open house disclosure. There's a video on our channel that goes into details about that. So again, here you're thinking about, as the consumer point of view, who's in my corner? Like, who's representing me, or this property is represented by who? That's what this document is going to answer. It is a disclosure. Just in case, we're reviewing and assuming that you've seen this document before when you were going through your real estate course to the public. This document again is found on the Real Estate Commission website. It is titled Understanding Home Agents Represent. It is 2 pages, and it will go through the different scenarios in terms of who does this agent represent at this moment in relation to the property. Let's make it even simpler. Let's go through what the document briefly talks about. You have the people on the seller corner. This is a listing agent, the person who got the business and got the agreement signed. If that's you, congratulations to you. You have the seller agent. What's the difference? Here it's understanding that when the seller hires me, Brenda, the agent, they're hiring the brokerage. So let's assume here you're the seller. Your property address is 26 Blue Ocean, and you happen to hire an individual that works for Blacktop Realty. That person whom you hired, the individual, is going to get the title of listing agent. But guess what, dear seller? You hired the entire brokerage, Blacktop Realty. Any agent in that particular company is able to assist you, and that is what allows us as real estate agents, for example, to do an open house for each other. So Blacktop Realty, in my example, is in the seller's corner. The document also goes through something known as subagency. Who is a subagent? In this scenario, subagent is from a different company. Let's give them the top of White Top Realty. That's the company that they work for. So we have here 26 Blue Ocean is up for sale by the company Blacktop Realty. A subagent works for a different company, White Top Realty. They have a buyer. They don't have an agreement with that buyer. So by default, this agent from White Top Realty is going to be known as a subagent. Why? They're from a different company and they don't have an agreement with the buyer. That is subagency, or rather, that agent from White Top Realty is going to be referenced to as a subagent. And then we have the buyer agent, self-explanatory, but I don't want to assume. This person is an individual that has an agreement with the buyer. Okay, let's move forward to the next document, consent to dual agency. Again, here we're only focusing on the 2 forms. There are other disclosure forms. Consent to dual agency, the word consent means permission. Here, dual agency in Maryland is very special. The dual agent is the broker of the company or the manager or anyone the broker has designated to be the dual agent. Buyer has their own agent, seller has their own agent, but the agents both work within the same company. So let me use my prior example. You have somebody who has the property for sale. They're with Blacktop Realty. Let's say you have me as the buyer agent, and I also work for Blacktop Realty. Now we have a dual agency. But for this to happen, my dear, we have to get permission from both the buyer and the seller. How do we get permission? By having the consent to dual agency form signed up front before the property is shown. So the seller gives permission before the property is shown by someone else from Blacktop Realty in my example. Buyer gives permission before they see that house that's listed by Blacktop Realty. They can also refuse at any time. So the document we're talking about is this one, Consent to Dual Agency. Once again, you can find a copy of it on the Real Estate Commission website. It is 2 pages. We have permission upfront, consent, and then we have confirmation when it truly happens that the buyer and the seller are represented by individuals that work within the same company. In the exam, you might see questions about loyalty. The dual agent is going to provide equal loyalty to the buyer and the seller. But the agents, who are referenced to as intracompany agents, are going to give undivided loyalty to their respective clients. Hopefully we shall go through this in a couple of seconds. If not, put a comment in the chat box and I will do my best to expand on it. Let's use my previous example. You have the listing agent or the seller agent working for Blacktop Realty. In my previous example, the address is 26 Blue Ocean. So the owner of 26 Blue Ocean has hired someone from Blacktop Realty. And then you have you, a buyer interested. You happen to call Brenda, and Brenda happens to work for Blacktop Realty, and you hire me. Great, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to working with you. I happen to work for Blacktop Realty. So there are 2 agents. One is speaking for the seller, one is speaking for the buyer. We just happen to work in the same company. Confidentiality is still key. I, Brenda, representing you, the buyer, I'm not going to disclose anything to the other side in terms of confidential matters, which is usually your financial story and the reason why you're doing what you're doing, which is buying and so forth. On the other side, the people representing the seller, even though we work in the same company, Blacktop Realty, they're not going to disclose confidential matters to me. Each one of us is going to give undivided loyalty to our respective clients. But the dual agent is going to step in whenever there are issues, so the agents can only disclose stuff to the broker. The broker is the dual agent or the designated person by the broker. We agents are known as intracompany agents. Key things to remember. We need to get permission up front for dual agency to happen. The dual agent, the broker, is given equal loyalty. We're still going to keep stuff confidential. Hopefully this is helping you as you go work on your real estate exam. Finalizing and summarizing the 2 forms. The understanding whom agents represent is talking about who, right? So who does this agent represent? And here again, we're going to give that document at the first scheduled face-to-face meeting to an individual whom I, Brenda agent, do not have an agreement with. And then consent, permission. Will you allow dual agency? Remember again, we're in the same company and I was using the example of Blacktop Realty. This is for educational purposes to help you pass the real estate exam. First face-to-face meeting, we're going to go through the understanding, and then consent to dual agency is going to come about when applicable, when the agent is showing you a property that is listed by the company they work for. As you continue to work on passing that Maryland real estate exam, go to trainingwithbrenda.com. Our YouTube channel has a playlist on that topic labeled as Brokerage Relationship that produces the most questions. Remember, understanding is who. We're going through who does this agent work for or represent. Consent is permission. Disclosure is explaining what is going on. Consent is getting permission, authority. If you haven't already, schedule your exam today. I will see you next time.